Sunday, July 23rd, day 130 on the trail. I just left the Stratton pond shelter about 45 minutes ago. It was the latest start that I've had. Then I left about 10:30. Got in late last night. It was a 15-mile day yesterday. It was 8:45 when I got to camp last night. All I did was I found a place to hang my hammock, fixed my supper, and went to bed. I'd actually cameled up and collected some water about 2 miles ahead because I'd read that the water sources weren't all that great up at the shelter itself. It was a ways away, and I didn't want to go looking for water in the dark. I could have waited. There was a nice stream that was just ahead of the shelter, but I had filled my smaller drinking container at this other stream, and it was nice and cold and clear. And so I thought, well, I'll just take advantage of the good water that was there. So I carried an extra 6.5 pounds basically for the last 2 miles, which didn't help my speed at all, and sort of changes your center of gravity and your balance as well when you're hiking. But nevertheless, we got there, got set up, had to use the red light on my headlamp because everybody was pretty much asleep. There were a couple of other folks that came into camp, but they all had their red lights on as well. But we got it done. Got our supper made and consumed, and then went to bed. It's cooling off up here. The lows were in the low to mid 50s. I'm not using my sleeping bag liner anymore, and there was one other backpacker that I talked to that was in the same situation. He said he'd stopped using his sleeping bag liner as well and pulled his quilt back out. I think that was Togo from England that I met yesterday. And so he was the same thing. He was just doing the long trail. He's already completed the Appalachian Trail. Now he's doing the long trail before his visa runs out and he has to fly back home in 2 weeks to Bristol, England. Anyway, had a good conversation with him. But it is cooling off. No rain yesterday, no rain today, very low chance tomorrow, and then I think Tuesday is like a 50% chance of rain. So today should be really nice. Hoping to go about 13 miles to the Bromley shelter on Bromley Mountain. Just kind of taking my time. I'm feeling the effect of yesterday, and my body's still a little bit tired, so I'm dragging just a little bit. I've got enough food to go for at least 4 days, if not 5, and so we'll kind of see how that goes. I can't remember the name of the town where I was going to resupply after Bennington, but we'll take a look at the notes again and the map and kind of see where that's going to happen. But it's nice to, and I need to mail some stuff home. I need to lighten my pack. I need to jettison some things, either by mailing them home or leaving them in a hiker box somewhere. And so I need to take care of that as well. And I probably need to restock on my mosquito repellent because that's starting to get low. I still have not used my bug net, and I don't know if I will. If it's cooling down, the bugs might continue to not be real active at night. And so I've been carrying my bug net ever since the start. Haven't used it yet. Anyway, I think the tarp helps to deter the insects from finding me in my hammock at night. All right, it's time to move on and get going. I need to cover some ground. Most of the trail is downhill today. The last couple of miles may be uphill up to the shelter, but otherwise it's mostly, the general incline is down. There's some, rolling stuff, ups and downs in the way, but nothing significant, no major mountains to climb today. All right, that's it for the morning report. It's Patriarch, wishing you all a great day. Stay green, keep going, and I'll be pushing on. Well, it's the end of the day. I rolled into the Bromley shelter about 7:15 tonight. I got my tarp set up here by the tent pad, actually, a tent platform. I think there's only one other couple up on one of the other sites on the hill up here above me. Nobody in the shelter at all. Probably could have hung my hammock up in the shelter tonight, but decided that if someone comes in late, I don't want to be preventing them from using the shelter for its intended purpose either. So, and as usual, my shirt wringing wet from sweat, even though it was a nice day. Still, the climb, the last 2.5 mile climb up the hill was enough to get it drenched again. I haven't cooked supper yet, so I need to get that done. Finish getting my hammock set up. Just got to put my quilts on, and then I'll be ready to cook. So the end of another long day. I have no idea where tomorrow is going to take me yet. I need to look at the map. I've kind of stopped looking too far ahead. It doesn't seem to do a whole lot of good. So day at a time. I need to figure out where my next resupply is going to be. I've got, I think I mentioned it this morning, 4 days or 4 meals, 4 evening meals worth of food. So I can keep hiking for a while yet. And then I want to try and learn how to get down to basically nothing left in my food bag, so that I can learn how to lighten my load before I get to New Hampshire. Talked with a couple of interesting southbounders today about New Hampshire, and found out some good information. Maybe a couple of bridges that have some trouble, one reroute and one that's closed, but everybody steps over the tape because it still works. Just that one end, the access on one end is kind of washed out. So you just work around that. Anyway, it was kind of interesting as my shadow grew longer and then suddenly gets swallowed up by the forest shadow. It was kind of interesting to watch that tonight. The sun's not totally down yet, but in the woods, it's already dark, or dark enough anyway. There's still enough light to do things, maneuver without a headlamp yet, but I need to get some clothes up on a line and let them at least dry a little bit. There's no breeze right now, but even just getting them out in the air would help. Get my socks off and get them up too. All right, I think we're going to close it out for the day. Day 130, I believe this was. So tomorrow was another day, Monday, and we'll see how long we can go without a zero or without checking into a hostel. Clothes are starting to really need to be washed, however. Yeah. All right. Patriarch signing off for the night. Have a good night.